Good afternoon from the Palace Hotel, where today the young bass baritone James Rutherford, accompanied by Simon Lepper, performs a programme based around two pairs of connected composers. The second half of his recital features Gerald Finzi, born 100 years ago, and his first teacher, Ernest FARRAR. But James Rutherford begins with one of the most celebrated musical partnerships of the 19th century, Robert and Clara Schumann. When Robert and Clara finally married in September 1840, they were a couple passionately in love. As Clara wrote in her diary afterwards, "I prayed fervently that God would preserve my Robert to me for many, many years. Indeed, the thought that I might one day lose him is enough to send me out of my mind. Heaven avert this calamity! I could not bear it." A few months after the wedding, she began composing a set of songs herself. While she was writing, Robert was all too aware that her career had suffered in favour of his. "She's written a number of pieces which show musicianship and a tenderness of invention," he wrote, "but children, and a husband who's always living in the realms of imagination, do not go well with composition." Dedicated to the Queen of Denmark, who'd lavishly welcomed Clara to Copenhagen in 1842, the songs are settings of the poets Geibel, Heine and Ruckert, all of them infused with a deep romantic glow, especially the first, Heine's Ihr Bildnis, written as a gift to Robert. Then we'll hear another Heine setting, Sie liebten, sich, beide, and finally the last of the set, a setting of Geibel's Die stille Lotusblume, that is, with its rhythmic irregularities, poignant melody and unresolved ending, the most memorable of the group. And here come James Rutherford and Simon Lepper onto the platform here at the Palace Hotel in Buxton to perform, first of all, three of Clara Schumann's 6 songs, Opus 13.
Sich beide, doch keiner wollte es dem anderen gestehen. Sie sahen sich an so feindlich und wollten vor Liebe vergehen. kreiselt ein weißer Schwan. Er singt so süß, so leise und schaut die Blume an. Er singt so süß, so leise und will im Singen vergehen. O Blume, weiße Blume, kannst du das Lied verstehen? O Blume, weiße Blume, kannst du das Lied verstehen?
Setting of Geibel's Die stille Lotusblume. Before that, two poems by Heine, Sie liebten, sich, beide, and first of all, Ihr Bildnis, sung by James Rutherford, accompanied on the piano by Simon Lepper. Well, the year of his marriage had been a fertile time for Robert Schumann as well as Clara. Indeed, 1840 is nicknamed his year of song. It saw him writing no fewer than 140 works. The 5 songs, opus 40, come from July that year. 4 of them are settings based on lyrics by the Danish poet Hans Christian Andersen. The first, the charming tale of a young man on a frosty morning looking at patterns the ice has made through a window pane. 2 laughing violet eyes await on the other side of the glass. In the second song, a mother dotes on her young son. Alas, the ravens tell us he'll grow up a thief and will end up hanged. The violent mood continues into the next number, where a soldier is assigned to a firing squad ordered to execute his best friend. The victim trembles so much that all the bullets miss, except for the one from the friend's gun. In the fourth song, a heartbroken musician bravely plays at the wedding of his former love, but the set concludes on a lighter note with a setting of a German translation of a Greek poem. 2 lovers thought they were alone when they kissed on the lake, except that the stars saw them and told the sun, who told the rudder, who told the helmsman, who told his sweetheart. Now everybody is talking about it. James Rutherford with his pianist Simon Lepper perform Robert Schumann's 5 songs, opus 40.
Sich rein und blau, der Rhein stellt Blumen aus zur Schau. Am Fenster prangt ein flimmender Flor, ein Jüngling steht ihn betrachtend davor, und hinter den Blumen blüht noch kein Blaus, ein lächelndes Augenpaar. Märzveilchen Wiener noch keine gesehen, der reif wird angehaucht zergehen. Eisblumen fangen zu schmelzen an, und Gott sei gnädig dem jungen Mann. Und Gott sei gnädig dem jungen Mann. bescheinen. Sie küsst ihn und Herz ihn, sie hält sich kaum, vergessen die irdischen Schmerzen. Es schweift in der Zukunft ihr Hoffnungstraum, so träumen Mütter im Herzen. Der Siebschaft sein, kreist draußen am Fenster die Weise. Dein Engel wird unser sein, der Räuber dient uns zur Speise. Zur Speise. Noch die Städte, der Weg wie lang, wärts rund alles vorbei. Ich glaub, es bricht mir das Herz in zwei. Ich hab in der Welt nur ihn geliebt, nur in dem jetzt man den Tod durchgibt. Bei klingenden Spieler wird paradiert. Dazu bin auch ich kommandiert. Nun schaut auf zum letzten Mal in Gottes freudigen Strahl, nun binden sie ihm die Augen zu, dir schenke Gott die ewige Ruhe. Es haben der Neun wohl angelegt, 8 Kugeln haben vorbeigefegt. Sie zitterten alle vor Jammer und Schmerz. Ich traf ihn mitten in das Herz. Städtchen gibt es Jubelswiel. Da halten sie Hochzeit mit Tanz und mit Spiel. Dem fröhlichen Linkert der Wein so rund. Die gleicht dem getünchten Tod. Ja, Tod für den nicht sie vergisst, dennoch beim Fest nicht Bräutigam ist. Da steht inmitten der Gäste im Krog und streicht die Geige lustig genug. Er streiche die Geige, sein Haare graut, es schwingen die Saiten gellend und laut, er drückt sie ans Herz und achtet es nicht, ob aus ihm 1000 Stücken zerbricht. Es ist gar grausig, wenn eine so stirbt, wenn jung sein Herz um Freude noch wirbt. Ich mag und will nicht länger es sehen, das möchte den Kopf geschwindet verdrehen. Verheiß euch mit Fingern zeigen auf mich. O Gott, bewahr uns gnädiglich, dass keinen der Wahnsinn übermannt. Bin selber ein armer Musikant. Danach sie uns küssten, o Mädchen, hat kein uns zugestaunt. Die Sterne, die standen am Himmel, wer habe den Sternen getraut? Es ist ein Stern gefallen, der hat dem Meer uns verklagt. Da hat das Mast im Ruder, das Ruder dem Schiffe gesagt. Da sang derselbige Schiffe, es seine Liebsten vor. Und singen auf Straßen und Wächten die Knaben und Mädchen im Chor.
James Rutherford, accompanied by Simon Lepper, singing Robert Schumann's 5 songs, Opus 40. Well, the second connection in this recital from Buxton concerns a teacher and his pupil. Ernest FARRAR was a Londoner, born in 1885. He studied organ and composition before he became a church organist. After a period at the English church in Dresden, he returned to Yorkshire, where he'd gone to school, in 1912 becoming organist at Christ Church, Harrogate. It was there he took on as a pupil the 13-year-old Gerald Finzi. The pair were separated in 1916 when FARRAR was called up. He was killed in action in France in 1918, less than 2 months before the end of the war. The effect on the young Finzi was devastating. He'd already had to cope with the death of his father and 3 of his elder brothers. Now he'd lost the man who'd shaped his early musical development. He became introspective and found recourse in books. Even though still a young man, he developed a sense of urgency about his composing career, as if he wanted to get ideas down before it was too late. Of all the composers who set the words of Thomas Hardy, it was perhaps Finzi who showed the greatest affinity with the writer. Earth and Air and Rain is the second and perhaps greatest of Finzi's 5 collections of songs to Hardy's poems. Its 10 songs cover an extraordinary range of emotions and musical techniques, from the extrovert Rollicum-Rorum, taken from Hardy's novel The Trumpet Major, to the simplicity of So I Have Fared. The title of the set comes from the last song, Proud Songsters, which compares how the birds of now were 12 months ago, just particles of grain and earth and air and rain. Well, before we hear the Finzi songs, we're going to hear a setting by Ernest Farrar of words by Edward Verrill Lucas, a song written in 1914 but not published until the year after Farrar's death. In Brittany, the churches all day are open wide, that anyone who wishes to may pray or rest inside. So, to sing, first of all, Ernest Farrar's Brittany, then Gerald Finzi's Earth and Air and Rain, here are James Rutherford and Simon Lepper.
In Brittany, the churches all day are open wide, that anyone who wishes to may pray or rest inside. The priests have rusty cassocks, the priests have shaven chins, and poor old bodies go to them with lists of little sins. The churches are cool and white and quaint, with here and there a crucifix, and here and there a saint, and here and there a little shrine, with candles short or tall, that Bretons light for love of him. Summer calls again, her little fifers to these hills. We'll go, we two, to that arched fane of leafage, where they prime their bills, before they start to flood the plain with quavers, minims, shakes, and thrills. Who shall say what may not chance before that day? And we shall see the water stream from chinks the scrubby copses ground, and we shall trace their creeping to where the cascade tumbles down and sends the bobbing growths a swing, and ferns not quite but almost drown. We shall, I say, but who shall sing of what another moon will bring? Set out for Lyonesse, 100 miles away. The Rhine was on the spray, and starlight lit my lonesomeness. When I set out for Lyonesse, 100 miles away. Chance at Lyonesse, while I should sojourn there, no prophet durst declare, nor did the wisest wizard guess what would be chance at Lyonesse, while I should sojourn there. With magic in my eyes, all marked with mute surmise, my radiance rare and fathomless. When I came back from Lyonesse with magic in my eyes. runs and stands in a careworn craze, and looks at the sands and the seaward haze, with moveless hands and face and gaze. Then turns to go. What does he see when he gazes so? They say he sees as an instant thing, more clear than today, a sweet soft scene that once was in play by that briny green. Yes, notes always warm, real and keen. What his back ears bring, a phantom of his own figurine. Of this vision of his they might say more, not only then does he see this sight, but everywhere in his brain, day, night, as if on the air it were drawn rose bright. Yea, far from that shore does he carry this vision of heretofore. A ghost girl rider, and though toil tried he withers daily, time touches her not, and she still rides gaily in his rapt thought on that shagged and shady Atlantic spot. And as when first tide draws rein and sings to the swing of the tide, simple was I, and was young, kept no gallant tryst I, even from good words held my tongue, quoniam tu fecist I. Through my youth I stirred me not, high adventure missed I, left the shining shrines unsought. Yet me deduxist I. At my start by Helicon, love little wist I, worldly less but footed on. Why? Me suscepist I. When I failed at fervid rhymes, shall I said persist I? Dies, I would add at times, meos posuist I. So I have fared through many suns. Sadly little grist I bring my mill or anyone's. Domine tu sci dead of night I call, though to prophets list I, which hath understood at all. Yea, quem elegist I. When lawyers strive to heal a breach and parsons practice what they preach, then Boney Hill come pouncing down and marches men on London town. Rollicum-Rorum, toll-a-lorum, rollicum-rorum, toll-a-lay, rollicum-rorum, toll-a-lorum, rollicum-rorum, toll-a-lay. When justice is whole equal scales and rogues are only found in James, then Boney Hill come pouncing down and marches men on London town. Rollicum-rorum, toll-a-lorum, rollicum-rorum, toll-a-lay, rollicum-rorum, toll-a-lorum, rollicum-rorum, toll-a-lay. When rich men find their wealth a curse and fill her with the poor man's purse, then Boney Hill come pouncing down and marches men on London town. Rollicum-rorum, toll-a-lorum, rollicum-rorum, toll-a-lay, rollicum-rorum, toll-a-lorum, rollicum-rorum, toll-a-lay. When husbands with their wives agree and maids won't wed from modesty, then Boney Hill come pouncing down and marches men on London town. Rollicum-rorum, toll-a-lorum, rollicum-rorum, toll-a-lay, rollicum-rorum, toll-a-lorum, rollicum-rorum, toll-a-lay. Lizbie Browne, where are you now? In sun, in rain, or is your brow past joy, past pain? Dear Lizbie Browne, sweet Lizbie Browne, how you could smile, how you could sing, how archly one in glance giving, sweet Lizbie Browne. And Lizbie Browne, who else had hair red as yours, or flesh so fair, bred out of doors, sweet Lizbie Browne. When Lizbie Browne you had just begun to be ended by stealth to one, you disappeared. My Lizbie Browne, Lizbie Browne, so swift your life, and mine so slow. You were a wife, and I could show love, Lizbie Browne. Still, Lizbie Browne, you won, they said, the best of men when you were wed. Where went you then, oh Lizbie Browne? Dear Lizbie Browne, I should have thought girls ripen lost and caught you where you passed, dear Lizbie Browne. But Lizbie Browne, I let you slip, shaped not a sign, touched never your lip with lip of mine. Lost Lizbie Browne. So Lizbie Browne, when on a day men speak of me as not, you'll say, and who was he? Yes, Lizbie The spirit passed before my face. The hair of my flesh stood up. And the spirit said, I can make the clock of the years go backward, but I'm loath to stop it where you will. And I cried, agree to that, proceed, it's better than dead. He answered peace and called her up as last before me. Then younger she grew to the year I first had known her woman grown, and I cried, cease, thus far is good, it is enough, let us stay thus always. But alas for me, he shook his head. No stop was there, and she went child fair, and to babyhood. Stillness in me to my great sorrow became she slowly, and smalled till she was not at all in his checkless grip. It was as if she had never been. Better I plained she were dead as before. The memory of her had lived in me, but it cannot now. it was your choice to mar the ordained. It is sad that so many of worth still in the flesh suffer you, misjudge their lot whom kindly earth secludes from view. Diurnal round, each day's phantom of ours, in peerless ease, without jolt or bound, or ache like ours. If the living would but hear what is heard by my roots, as they creep round the restful flock, and the thing said there, no one would weep. Now set among the wise, they say, enlarged in scope, that no God's trumpet us to rise. We truly hope. I listened to his strange tale in the mood that stillness brings, and I grew to accept as the day wore pale that view of things. the finches whistle in ones and pairs, and as it gets dark, loud nightingales in bushes pipe as they can when April wears, as if all time were are birds of only 12 months growing, which a year ago are less than twain. No finches were, nor nightingales, nor thrushes, but only particles of grain and earth and air and rain.
Earth and Air and Rain, 10 songs set by Gerald Finzi, born 100 years ago. The words of Thomas Hardy. Music performed here at the Buxton Festival by James Rutherford and Simon Lepper. And as a prelude to that song cycle, we heard Brittany by Finzi's first teacher, his mentor ERNEST, FARRAR, the composer who died fighting in France in the First War. James Rutherford, a BBC New Generation artist, returns to the platform now with his pianist Simon Lepper. With that, we reach the end of this recital from the Buxton Festival.